In this video, we are going to demonstrate the installation of the Vivid 360 Pool and Spa Plug Kit. Determining whether an existing cable is viable is critical. An existing cable is not viable if the outer jacket is out of round or damaged, has signs of water intrusion, or has corroded copper wiring. In the absence of any visible damage, testing the cable's resistance is an effective way to confirm that a cable is viable. This is accomplished by detaching the black and white wires at the power source, wire nutting them together, then testing the black and white wires at the termination point using a multimeter. You can visit our website, www.bluesquaremanufacturing.com, follow the links to resources, technical documents, electrical specification sheet to view the maximum ohm ratings of all Blue Square lights. If the ohm reading exceeds the number on our specification sheet, then cord replacement is required. The basic tools that you will need is a #1 Phillips screwdriver and wire strippers. We also recommend you have a tube of pool lube. First, you will prepare the cable for installation by removing a 1/2 inch of the outer jacket with your wire strippers. If your cord has 3 conductors, a black, a white, and a green, remove the green conductor by cutting it off close to the outer jacket. Strip 1/4 of an inch of the remaining black and white wires. These are the components provided in the Vivid 360 Pool and Spa Plug Kit. There are multiple sizes and several components in the bag, including 2 clamps, 2 sets of thrust washers, and 4 colored grommets. The kit also comes with a pool mounting bracket and a spa connector nut. The thickness of the cable will determine which components you will use. Now that you have chosen which components best fit the cable, begin by sliding the FTA clamp nut over the cable with the wings to the back. Next, you will choose one of the 2 large gray thrust washers that best fits the cable. There are 2 different hole sizes in these thrust washers. They also have a beveled edge, which you will face to the back of the cable. You will now slide that on. The next and most critical component to add to the plug kit is the rubber grommet. There's an orange, a light gray, a black, and a white. The hole sizes get smaller as we go from orange to white. You will choose the proper grommet to fit on the cable, but you don't want it to be this loose. That is too loose. What you want to have to be able to do is use your index fingers and work it onto the cable as such. This can also be accomplished by using a little lubricant on the cable. Once you have the proper rubber grommet on, you will next choose the appropriate thin thrust washer. Again, 2 different hole sizes. This also has a beveled edge, but this time the beveled edge will go forward. So you will now slide that on to your cable. Just like so. So you now have these 4 components already on. I'm going to, for the sake of this installation, do a pool plug kit bracket. This will have the arms facing forward, and you will just kind of slide that on right now. Your very next component is going to be your male threaded fitting with the 2 O-rings. Your male thread will go on first. You will slide this onto the cable so that you now have all the components in this configuration. At this point, you are ready to put the wire connector on, and we're almost completed with this installation. It is important now, as you put your wire connector on, that you use your #1 screwdriver and you install your cables into the 2 corresponding holes as such. And with your #1 Phillips screwdriver, you will then tighten the wire connector. When you are completed with this, we want you to do a simple light tug. Make sure your wire connections are correct. In between the two wires, there is a channel. On this fitting, there is a key. You want to line the key up with the channel, and in doing so, it'll slide right in flush and smooth. Now, as you pull everything back together, it is also important that you get your rubber grommet as far up into the fitting. As you pull all the components together, I want you to think of this as holding a cigar. Place your fingers over the bracket, apply pressure with your thumb, and pull your rubber grommet as far up into that male fitting as possible. You cannot allow your wire connector to go beyond flush or it will not make the proper contact with the light. At that point, pull everything together and begin screwing it down. At this point, you now have the nut started on. You will thread it down hand tight only. And note that there will always be a couple of threads still visual. Do not concern yourself with that. The last thing now that we are to do is to take one of these rear clamps, clamp it down to the back, utilizing the two nuts and bolts that are in the bag with the plug kit. At this point, you have now properly installed a 400,001 pool spa plug kit for a Vivid pool light.